My name is Clifford Martin Short. I'm 86-year-old. We're in Lincoln Road, near the Hertford Road, Ponders End. Two gentlemen used to ride the road. One was the famous Dick Turpin and his partner, Ponder. Ponder was captured and he was executed on the corner of South Street where the gallows were. And from then on, it was named the end of Ponder, Ponder's End. And so they kept the name Ponder's End. I left school because leaving school was the age of 14 then. And I went into a factory for a short while, and the war was started. And then I had to take part in the fire brigade for a short while. I started off as a runner for them because we never had radios or anything like that at the time. I used to have to dash around on a push bike, just getting the messages around to different people and that, and carried on in the fire brigade right through the war. Oh well, up until the Blitz finished. Then I was transferred into the RAF. At Ponders End and round this area down to Freezewater, there was a lot of big factories. Eddiswan, Enfield gun factory where they used to make all the ammunition. Even in Lincoln Road, where the flour mill and the railway is, we used to have the big shell factory there. So they were after that all the while. It was very dangerous. But we coped with it. We got on. Corner of South Street was the nice old pub. It was a real beautiful pub. It was called the Two Brewers, and that was hit. Had a bomb go straight through the roof, and unfortunately, the group of men that were inside the pub itself were all members of a Buffalo Lodge. And they got downstairs very quickly down into the basement now, when after then the bomb came through straight into where they were. Unfortunately, 20 men were killed. We worked on that place, trying to sort it out and everything and find where the bodies and that. We found 17, but 3 were missing. One was, I think his name was Smol. That's a peculiar name, S-M-O-L his name. And there was another one which was Scales. And I don't know the name of the third one. I haven't been able to find that out yet. But I am slowly working on it still, to see if I can get all the names together. But it was one of the worst jobs I ever went on. I was born in London and then taken out to India with my mum and dad, because my father was a regular soldier with the Middlesex Regiment, and he was out in India helping to run the military out there. And I came back round about 1930, just early 35, when we came back to England, and we lived in Edmonton at Church Street. From there I moved across to Charlton Road, Edmonton, because my father had bought a house there, a brand new house, where we had it just before the war started. Well, Ponders End around about that time was a lot of nursery gardens, orchards and all that, because of the area of Ponders End was very wet, and it was like swamps round. And they would just use they never had many houses down there. The only houses you really got were just in South Street itself. And then you had all the different farms around. And of course up on the corner of South Street, the stables for all the horses and that. There wasn't so many people down here then. Wasn't until after the war when it started building up again into a community. Round it was all mostly agricultural work to be carried out. Because the flour mill, that goes back to 1100 when that was first built. Part of it was first built, the first owner, which is now still going very strong. The public houses that were down there were always used for putting people up who were coming from Cambridge or London when they changed the coach horses and that. And they were like ale houses and that. But we've got one or two public houses that are still safely working. But the main one being the Falcon Public House, which goes back to about early 1800. And the Prince of Wales, which is now the Working Men's Club, that was 1847. We took over the ownership for the club in 1911. So now we're over 100-year-old in there. The cinema, we had our local cinema, which was the electric cinema, then it became the Plaza. That was carried on till a little while after the war started. Then it was closed and had to be used as a factory for making aircraft parts. And they made mosquito wings in there. And on the other side of the road was all of the little shops there where the Bishop of Lincoln used to live. That's how Lincoln Road itself got its name, because it was originally known as Red Lane. And the bishop lived there for many years, and then it got caught fire and everything, and there's still a little part of the house left there now. But other than that, it's changing slowly. Well, it was frequent, you know. We used to get the incendiary bombs. We used to get the heavy bombs and that. There was more fire bombs than anything on Enfield and that. They were trying to destroy the factories there. The explosive bomb was a big heavy metal one with the explosives inside. The fire bomb was an incendiary bomb, which was, I suppose, the length of it was about 18 inches, and when that hit, the front used to catch fire and burn down everything around it. So we used to get thousands of them dropping on us, and I mean thousands of them. They were very dangerous. They used to come through the roofs, they used to everywhere, you know. Very frightening. We all had, fortunately, air raid shelters, and those that are handicapped people used to have what they called a Morrison shelter indoors, which is like a big table, and underneath the table was like a bed, so that if the siren went off, they used to get under the table into like the shelter there, and they were safe because it was all steel. Even to the bits going down the side were like big nets of steel, and it saved a lot of lives that way. The other things were really the under the stairs where people used to hide themselves in case of the bombing and that. Because not only did you get the bombing and that, you had the shrapnel from the anti-aircraft guns. When they're firing at the aircraft and that, we were getting the shrapnel coming down. In fact, people are finding when they go up in their lofts and that to change the loft into another room, they find shrapnel bedded in the woodwork and all that. Lincoln Road, our houses where I am now, this one was built in 1929. And they were the only ones. They were around them, they was all fields and that. But they got on, and then they started bringing in flats. And I'll tell you, it's a lovely story about this house, buying this house. We came down here, we're looking at it and everything else. Some friends had got the place, and they were moving up to the Midlands. So they said, well, we're selling the house. And they asked us, we asked them how much it was going to cost us. £1,000, that's all. And but at that time, I couldn't afford anything. But that weekend, I always used to do the football pools. And I'd done the Zetas football most times. And that one, I got a winner up. I got a first dividend up, and I got just over £1,000, which I could go down and give the chap for the house and buy the house straight away. And I was pleased about, and I've had the house ever since. Well, being in St John's Ambulance, I used to do many duties at the Royal Palace up there, St James's and Buckingham Palace. I was up there regular. And the wife, she came on duty up there with me on occasions, and in the end we got so well with the royal family that the wife and we was invited to the garden party, which we took part in, and also the Queen Mother. She was one of our favourites. If we was on duty and she's around, she always came in and sat with us for a while. And in the end, I was invited. I had a personal invitation to a 90th birthday party. That's the Queen Mother's birthday party. That is the garden party. And then there was a lot of other ones where I was invited to various things up there, you know.
Cliff Short finally had his day in the sun, as the Two Brewers Memorial was opened on the day of the original bombing on September the 30th, 2014. Attended by local dignitaries and local people, Cliff showed Ponders End the value of perseverance and the importance of oral history. He became its inspiration for its past to be remembered and for creating a better future for all of us.
Sad and a happy day. The sadness side, as we all know how many people has lost their lives. But the happy days are opening this space for the residents and who lost their lives to be remembered.
It's an excellent, fantastic event that we've had here today to commemorate what took place here 74 years ago, bombing of the Two Brewers pub, and the actions of one very, perhaps even the oldest serving firefighter that we have in the borough of Enfield, who was actually there on this night. To be here today, to have done so much work to get this fantastic memorial.
It's nice remembrance of Enfield and all the bombing, particularly as I lost a stepbrother and his family when the V2 rocket dropped in Mapleton Road. So it's a good thing to keep it remembered.
We were in air raid shelters. We were all helping each other.
Oh, yes.
We liked going out after the air raids and collecting the shrapnel, which are the bits of the bombs, and see who had the most.
We take it to school, they
And show off.
collected
Look
it.
what I got. I got a German piece of a German here.
And they're the parachutes to make things out of the parachutes.
Parachutes, yes.
You could get one.
On the landmines when they came down, the parachute material, they made all the
We
girls.
made lovely show clothes for Millfield Theatre.
It was strange to walk along the high street and feel that there was a gap in between the buildings where they'd been bombed when we was on our way to Southbury Road School. And you see all the shops were way down and bombed to the ground. And you just sort of have to walk in the road to get round the debris going to school. Yeah.
That's a cycle to work in the morning, dodging the bomb holes and the shell holes to get to work, trying to get there through the holes. Yeah. Well,
This is good. This is wonderful.
Unexpected.
We need to keep these memories because when we're gone, there are no memories. Please keep them going.